He is the healer, the sufficer, the helper, the all forgiving, the all merciful. I call on thee, O exalted one, O faithful one, O glorious one, thou the sufficing, thy the healing, thy the abiding, O thy abiding one. I call on thee, O sovereign, O appraiser, O judge, thou the sufficing, thou the healing, thou the abiding, O thy abiding one. I call on thee, O peerless one, O eternal one, O single one, thou the sufficing, thou the healing, thou the abiding, O thou abiding one. I call on thee, O most praised one, O holy one, O helping one, thou the sufficing, thou the healing, thou the abiding, O thou abiding one. I call on thee, O omnipotent, O most wise, O most great one, thou the sufficing, thou the healing, thou the abiding, O thou abiding one. I call on thee, O clemens one, O majestic one, O ordaining, O one, thou the sufficing, thou the healing, thou the abiding, O thou abiding one. I call on thee, O beloved one, O cherished one, O enraptured one, thou the sufficing, thou the healing, thou the abiding, O thou abiding one. I call on thee, O mighty one, O sustaining one, O potent one, thou the sufficing, thou the healing, thou the abiding, O thou abiding one. I call on thee, O ruling one, O subsisting one, O all-knowing one, thou the sufficing, thou the healing, thou the abiding, O thou abiding one. I call on thee, O Spirit, O light, O most manifest one, thou the sufficing, thou the healing, thou the abiding, O thou abiding one. I call on thee, O thou frequent symbol, O thou known to all, O thou hidden from all, thou the sufficing, thou the healing, thou the abiding, O thou abiding one. I call on thee, O concealed one, O triumph one, O bestowing one, thou the sufficing, thou the healing, thou the abiding, O thou abiding one. I call on thee, O Almighty, O secure one, O concealing one, thou the sufficing, thou the healing, thou the abiding, O thou abiding one. I call on thee, O fashioner, O satisfier, O unrooter, thou the sufficing, thou the healing, thou the abiding, O thou abiding one. I call on thee, oh raising one, oh gathering one, oh exalted one, thou the sufficing, thou the healing, thou the abiding, oh thy abiding one. I call on thee, O perfecting one, O unfettered one, O bountiful one, thou the sufficing, thou the healing, thou the abiding, O thy abiding one. I call on thee, O benefited one, O withholding one, O created one, thou the sufficing, thou the healing, thou the abiding, O thy abiding one. I call on thee, O most sublime one, O beauty one, O bounty one, thou the sufficing, thou the healing, thou the abiding, O thy abiding one. I call on thee, O just one, O gracious one, O generous one, thou the sufficing, thou the healing, thou the abiding, O thy abiding one. I call on thee, O all compelling, O ever abiding, O most knowing one, thou the sufficing, thou the healing, thou the abiding, O thy abiding one. I call on thee, O magnificent one, O ancient of days, O magnetic one, thou the sufficing, thou the healing, thou the abiding, O thy abiding one. I call on thee, O well guarded one, O Lord of joy, O desire one, thou the sufficing, thou the healing, thou the abiding, O thy abiding one. I call on thee, O thou kind to all, O thy compassionate one withal, O most benevolent one, thou the sufficing, thou the healing, thou the abiding, O thy abiding one. I call on thee, O haven for all, O shelter to all, O all preserving one, thou the sufficing, thou the healing, thou the abiding one. I call on thee, O thou succor of all, O thou invoked by all, O quickened one, thou the sufficing, thou the healing, thou the abiding, O thy abiding one. I call on thee, O unfolder, O ravisher, O most clement one, thou the sufficing, thou the healing, thou the abiding, O thy abiding one. I call on thee, O thou my soul, O thou my beloved, O thou my faith, thou the sufficing, thou the healing, thou the abiding, O thy abiding one. I call on thee, O quencher of thirst, O transcendent Lord, O most precious one, thou the sufficing, thou the healing, thou the abiding, O thy abiding one. I call on thee, O great remembrance, O noble name, O most ancient ways, thou the sufficing, thou the healing, thou the abiding, O thy abiding one. I call on thee, O most lauded, O most holy, O sanctified one, thou the sufficing, thou the healing, thou the abiding, O thy abiding one. I call on thee, O unfastener, O counselor, O deliver us, thou the sufficing, thou the healing, thou the abiding, O thy abiding one. I call on thee, O friend, O physician, O captivated one, thou the sufficing, thou the healing, thou the abiding, O thy abiding one. I call on thee, O glory, O beauty, O bountiful one, thou the sufficing, thou the healing, thou the abiding, O thy abiding one. I call on thee, O the most trusted, O the best lover, O Lord of the dawn, thou the sufficing, thou the healing, thou the abiding, O thy abiding one. I call on thee, O enkindler, O brightener, O bringer of delight, thou the sufficing, thou the healing, thou the abiding, O thy abiding one. I call on thee, O Lord of bounty, O most compassionate, O most mercy, one, thou the sufficing, thou the healing, thou the abiding, O thy abiding one. I call on thee, O constant one, O life-giving one, O source of all being, thou the sufficing, thou the healing, thou the abiding, O thy abiding one. I call on thee, O thou who penetrate all things, O all-seeing God, O Lord of uttering, thou the sufficing, thou the healing, thou the abiding, O thy abiding one. I call on thee, O manifest, yet hidden, O all seen, yet renounced, O onlooker, sought by all, thou the sufficing, thou the healing, thou the abiding, O thy abiding one. I call on thee, thou who slays the lover, O God of grace to the wicked, O sufficer, I call on thee, O sufficer, O healer, I call on thee, O healer, O abider, I call on thee, O abider, thou the ever abiding, O thy abiding one. Sanctified thou art, O my God, I beseech thee by thy generosity, whereby the portal of the bounty and the grace was open wide, whereby the temple of the holiness was established upon the thrones of eternity, and by thy mercy, whereby thou did invite all, all things unto the table of thy bounty and bestow it, and by thy gate, whereby thou did respond in thy own self with thy words, yea, on the behalf of all in heaven and earth, as the hour when thy sovereign and thy grandeur stood revealed at the dawn time, when the might of the dominion was made manifest. And again do I beseech thee by these most beauty names, by these most noble and sublime attributes, and by that most exalted remembrance, by the pure and spotless beauty, by the hidden light in the most hidden pavilion, and by the name cloaked with the garments of affliction every morning and evening, to protect the bearer of this blessed tablet, and whosoever recite it, whosoever come upon it, whosoever pass around the house where it is, heal thy, then my, by it every sick disease, poor one, every tribulation and distress, from every loath affliction and sorrow, guide thee, guide thy by it, whosoever desire to enter upon the path of thy guidance and the way of thy forgiveness and grace. Thou art very the powerful, the all sufficing, the healing, the protector, the giving, the compassionate, the all generous, the all merciful. Baha'u'llah.